Staying consistent with a new habit is painful. It's supposed to be. But something magical happens once you stay consistent for long enough. It's like a part of you changes and reaches a new level where staying consistent with that part of your life is like a bare minimum, a given, and just a part of your identity. Finally, over the past year, I feel like I've found the key to staying consistent, and it feels amazing. I've been waking up consistently at 6 a.m. even on weekends. I've been working out, uploading weekly to my YouTube channel, taking cold showers. Things haven't been perfect, of course. I still miss days from time to time, but I feel in complete control of whether or not I stay consistent with something. It truly feels like a conscious choice. So in this video, I'll go over a step-by-step process you can follow to finally start staying consistent with any habit, goal, activity, or lifestyle change that you want to make. I struggle with consistency for most of my life. From the time I was a kid, I was honestly always a quitter and would give up the moment things got too hard, which, as you know, happens pretty quickly anytime you try to start something new. Looking back on my younger self, I feel like I definitely had potential and could have achieved any of my past childhood dreams of becoming a baseball player or a musician if I had simply just stuck with it and stayed consistent. It's painful to think about all the wasted potential, the what if, I could have scenarios, but there's no point in dwelling on the past, and I'm determined to stay consistent with everything else in my life moving forward. The problem with make it easy. I remember I would always look for the easy ways to do things in life, ways to make starting a new habit or getting consistent work done on my side hustle as pain-free as possible. And it kind of makes sense that we naturally want things to be painless. You know, if something feels hard, we want to make it easier. I think one of the things James Clear mentions in Atomic Habits is to make the habit easy so that you can stay consistent with it and then slowly build it up from there. And I do think this approach can be good to a certain extent for someone who's trying to start working out. I wouldn't tell them to start by, doing an intense 90-minute workout every single day of the week. I've seen one of my friends do this multiple times where they announced that they would start working out consistently, then proceeded to do these crazy 2-hour intense workouts with running and weightlifting, and then of course after a week they burned out and quit entirely. It would have been much better if he had just done a 15 or 20-minute workout every day so he could stay consistent until he solidified the habit. But this approach of always trying to start small and make it easy won't work forever. The problem that I've experienced is that no matter what we do, eventually at some point it's going to feel hard, it's going to be painful, and the only way to avoid this pain would be to give up and stop doing the thing entirely, which obviously we don't want to do. Chase the pain. What finally helped me start staying consistent was to actually embrace the pain, see it as a good thing, and even pursue it to a certain extent. It might sound kind of weird at first, like this guy's talking about pursuing and chasing pain as some sort of self-harm type of thing. No, it's not. Let me just explain. Let's zoom out a bit and ask ourselves, why does a particular habit feel painful? For example, waking up at 6 a.m. and getting straight to work on my side hustle used to be insanely difficult for me. Why was that? Well, I simply just wasn't used to doing that. It wasn't part of my identity. Younger Miles at the time wasn't someone who would wake up at 6 a.m. every day and work on his business. That was just out of character. Miles at the time was someone who would stay up late on his phone, crawl out of bed at the last minute after snoozing his alarm 3 times. For that version of Miles, of course, it's going to be painful to start waking up early and being productive first thing in the morning. Now, on the other hand, for what type of person would waking up at 6 a.m. and getting straight to work on your business not be painful for? A successful YouTuber, entrepreneur maybe? So how did I go from barely waking up before 9 a.m. to waking up consistently at 6 a.m. and getting to work with minimal discomfort? I had to metaphorically destroy my past self. I had to recognize that for my younger self, doing the good habits and getting the work done consistently was going to feel ridiculously painful, and that's okay. That pain that I felt at the time was just my past identity, my younger self, trying to hang on and survive. To ultimately stay consistent with something, we have to become the type of person that naturally does that thing as a part of their daily lifestyle. Now, although I've seen some good progress on my YouTube channel and in my entrepreneurship journey, I wouldn't yet classify myself as a completely successful YouTuber or entrepreneur, at least not in terms of the levels of success that I intend to reach one day. But the closer I've gotten to aligning my identity with that of a successful YouTuber and entrepreneur and living my life like they would, the more growth and progress I've started to see in my business and channel. Alright, so that was a lot of conceptual talk, but I think it's really important to dial in the overall mindset before we get into the practical steps. So how do we actually go about changing our identity and staying consistent with a new habit? Step 1 is to identify the identity. We need to figure out the type of person that we want to become. You might have a particular habit or lifestyle change in mind, like wake up early, go to the gym, or maybe it's to not do something like stay up late on Friday night and instead go to bed early so that you can take full advantage of the weekends to make progress on your side business. By the way, if you're looking to grow a business or new project outside of your full-time job, I think the biggest thing holding you back from success is personal lifestyle issues that are being reflected in your business. Fixing your time management, daily routine, health, environment, relationships, relationships, habits, and eliminating distractions is going to be way more impactful on your success than obsessing over the perfect business tactics. You can fill out the form in the description to apply for a free 30-minute strategy call with me where I'll help you identify and start to solve these issues so you can finally make progress towards your goals. So let's continue with the example of us wanting to go to bed early on Friday so that we can wake up early on Saturday and get some work done on our business. Now, instead of just defining the habit itself, like I will go to bed at 10 p.m. on Friday and wake up at 6 a.m. on Saturday, we need to define the type of person that we want to become who will naturally do this habit. I would take a few minutes to write this out and try to get detailed here. Don't just say the best version of myself or a successful YouTuber. Be specific and personal to you. Remember, we are literally trying to become this person. So for example, I could say I want to become the future version of myself, Miles, who is now 25, has over 100,000 subscribers on YouTube, makes over $10,000 per month profit in my business, which has allowed him to quit his day job and go full-time on YouTube. It's also important to make sure that this new habit or lifestyle change actually aligns with the type of person that you would want to become in the future. Don't get caught up trying to do a habit just for the sake of doing a habit. Always think big picture. Step 2 is to define the lifestyle. Next, what I would do is go beyond this single habit and define the entire lifestyle that this future version of you would live. From the time they wake up, to the time they go to sleep, to their morning routine, what food they eat, what clothes do they wear, how do they spend their day, what's their relationship with friends and family like, etc. If you can align your entire lifestyle to that of this future version of yourself, it will become that much easier to stay consistent with the initial habit that you set out to build. For example, if you wanted to build the habit of waking up early and working on your business, but you still have the habit of drinking alcohol or staying up late playing video games, those two aren't going to work too well together, and more often than not, the negative habit will win. The moment you stop the bad habit of late nights, video games, and alcohol, it will become significantly easier for you to stay consistent with the good habit. If you're struggling to define the entire lifestyle and identity that you want to build, one thing I like to do is take inspiration from people who have achieved some of the success that I want to achieve. You're not going to find someone who perfectly matches every aspect of your future identity and lifestyle, so I like to take bits and pieces from different people's routines, habits, mindsets, and approaches to life and incorporate them into my own. Step 3 is to add fuel to the fire. Once we've defined that lifestyle and identity that we want to embody, we simply need to add fuel to the fire through micro actions. Imagine that you're sitting at a campsite and there's a tiny fire going. It's like one log that's barely burning. This represents our future identity, that ideal version of ourselves who stays consistent with all the good habits and lives the lifestyle that we want to live. And depending on where you're at in life right now, that flame might not be too strong right now, and that's okay. We can fix that and turn it into a huge bonfire and solidify this new identity. From now on, everything that we do in life that aligns with this new identity will add fuel to the fire, whether it's a big habit like waking up early and getting straight to work on your business, or a small habit like flossing your teeth every night. Now, at the same time, anything that we do that doesn't align with this new identity, like partying all weekend or not folding our laundry, will start to extinguish the fire. Everything counts. I often emphasize the importance of zooming out and thinking big picture with your life, and that's definitely crucial for the first 2 steps. But when it comes to fueling your new identity, I think it really comes down to the micro actions. Yes, the big things like waking up early and getting your work done are important. This is like adding a big log to the fire. But the small actions, when aggregated throughout your day, week, month, and years, I think can really be the determining factor that keeps your fire burning strong. They create the foundation for your lifestyle so you can stay consistent with the bigger habits. If you found this video valuable, click that subscribe button and DM me on Instagram. As always, do something today that your future self would thank you for.